Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. We are broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. We will be discussing the Abby and Libby case, also known as the Delphi murders. Richard Allen's trial is in Carroll County. So we titled this Richard Allen Trial, Carroll County, Day 1. The jury has been sworn in. The defense has removed its request to view the crime scene, which makes sense. I always thought that would not benefit Richard Allen. If anything, it was going to benefit the prosecution, and it almost felt like they were playing possum. Like, oh no, please don't take him to the crime scene. So, kind of told you guys that early on. It looks like the murder sheet was pulled from the media group. So I'm sure they're still going to be able to make their way as long as they're first in line or they're able to get into the courtroom. I think there's confirmation, no DNA, no fingerprints, as you see here up on the thumbnail. So we got a lot to go over. Looks like I don't know if they're going to be allowing third-party suspects. I do believe some of those third-party suspects have been subpoenaed officially. But I think mostly it's just going to be the discussion about the crime scene and what the experts believe as far as it being related to Odinism or Norse paganism. I think that part will be allowed, but I'm not sure about the third-party suspects. But I believe that is also something that's changed, that they are able to discuss the crime scene and experts' opinion about it being related to a ritual killing. So welcome in, Roxy Wendling. Delulu, what's up? Hope you're having a great day. Enjoying your lunch. Jill Moser. Happy Thursday to you, Pitbull Mom. Silas. Shane, always good to see you. Kate B. Jerry, what's going on? Good morning to you. Growing Crazy, good afternoon. Yep, shout out to the mods. Night Shadow, always good to see you. Devoted to Mariah, it's been a while. How are you? What have you been up to? Patty, hello. Fight for Justice. Audrey Kessler. Tara, mahalo. Welcome in, Tara. Christine, good to see you. Mustang, how are you? Shadowbox. Beth, welcome in. Hope you guys are having a great morning, afternoon, whatever. Happy Thursday. My guy Farmer, happy birthday. Make sure you guys wish Farmer happy birthday.
Happy birthday! Woo!
Hope you have a great day. Redfoot, what up? Hope you got your hall pass. Yep. The trial it's here. You know, pray for justice, whatever that may be. Kitty Cat, welcome in. Good to see you. Happy Thursday. She Warrior, welcome in. Hope you're having a great day at work. Hold it down. Don't let anybody stress you out. Audra says, justice for Abby and Libby. Thank you for that. Shadow says, happy birthday, Farmer. Thank you, Mustang. Boston Christian, how are you? Yeah, and don't forget, when Steffa gets in here, if we see her, it's her birthday too. Hey, GP. Cheeks, what's up? So we got two birthdays, Farmer and Steffa. Thank you, Nana. Says justice for Abby and Libby. Tara says, I wish I could be there. My car's still broken down. I'm seriously debating getting a rental car. Yeah, do it up. Give us some of that boots on the ground. GP says, happy birthday, farmer. I love John Candy. That's one of my favorite movies. Jill, good morning. Witchcrafts is justice for Abby and Libby. Welcome in. Good to see you. Miss Thang, how are you? Always good to see you. Jerry says, happy birthday, farmer. Violet, welcome in. Anna says, happy birthday. None of your business. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on your geolocation. Any new news? Looks like it's confirmed no DNA, no fingerprints. I'm sure you guys heard about the hair found in Abby's hand. I think that's going to be up for debate. The defense has removed its request to view the crime scene, which makes sense to me. I don't know why they would want them to view the crime scene, especially with Richard Allen having to be there, and them getting a good look at his reaction. Because if he's the killer of these two young girls in Delphi, Abby and Libby, to me that tells me he has issues. He's compulsive, meaning he cannot control certain things, certain actions. And I feel like that would be written all over his face. Good, Shane. Good. Kate says, happy birthday, farmer. That'd be a great gift. Charlotte, welcome. Violet says, happy birthday, farmer. GP says her birthday was 2 weeks ago. We're going to hit her with the belated. Plus, I can't get enough of John Candy.
Happy birthday! Woo!
Timmy, how you doing? KMM says happy birthday, guys. Tara says happy birthday, farmer and Stefa. Yep, opening statements. And we're going to be all over that, guys. Today may not be the longest live stream. So there's not a whole lot to report on. But tomorrow we'll be covering everything. Hey, Blind Squirrel, how you doing? Happy Thursday to you. Hope you're having a great day. Hope all is well. Yvonne T, good to see you. Boston Christian says, shut up, it's your birthday. It's his party. He'll cry if he wants to. Yep, always support your local farmers. Yep, exactly, farmer. Roxy, this is breaking news here. We have a scrub report. 117 people watching. Very limited thumbs. Go hit the thumbs up. Go share this video. Go share it on X. Go share it on Facebook. Post the link up on your YouTube channels. Let's get some more folks in here. Tara, I think the hair in Abby's hand is either Libby's, Kathy Allen's hair, or perhaps another suspect. And it could be none of the above, right? It could be a classmate. somebody that she was staying with. You know, it was the weekend. They had multiple sleepovers. Um, from what I gathered, they're always sharing each other's hoodies. You know, Kelsey, Libby, Abby. I was the same way when I was that age. Lacey, good to see you. Yeah, I mean, it's haunted the world. Blind Squirrel says, "Happy birthday, farmer." Hey, we got a big flex. One of my first members. That's a pretty big bicep. Don't hurt anybody. The gentle giant. Jill says, "Happy belated, GP." True crime and wine couple. I spoke to quite a few locals at the hearings in July and August. Many think Richard Allen is being railroaded. Why do they think that? What would be the motivation? Yep, for the most part. Tara could be Richard Allen's mom's hair too. I figure if it was related in any way to Richard Allen, they would have known that through the genealogy. I think they would have known that if it was anybody related to Abby or Libby, they would know that through the genealogy. So it could really only be three things, right? An accomplice, somebody they haven't tested, and really just some random hair. Maybe a classmate, friend, whatever. We did an experiment yesterday where I asked you guys to grab random hoodies, flip them inside out, and let me know if you can find a hair that is obviously not yours. And the results were overwhelming. 3 out of the 4 hoodies that I checked had hair that most likely belonged to my wife. And she doesn't wear my hoodies. But the fact is that the hair that I did find was down by the bottom of the sleeve. And it's my understanding, and I've been told by multiple people who have seen the crime scene photos, and I've heard it on other podcasts, and it's been mentioned now that that information has been released. That Abby was clutching. She kind of had her sleeves pulled over her hands, and had the end of the sleeves kind of balled up and clutched in her hand. So we know the defense is going to use every opportunity to sway the jury, create doubt. So they're going to be very misleading. But remember, they have to be careful, because if they lose the trust of this jury, it's over. But I feel like that statement is very misleading. If she had her hoodie sleeves clutched in her hand, did she have a hair clutched in her hand, or did she have the sleeve clutched in her hand that just happened to have a hair attached to it? Good to see you, Nana. Oh, congratulations to starting a new job last Monday. Hope you wish all the success for you in your new endeavor. Yep. Life goes on, right? Life goes on. Yeah, this trial should have been done with by now. Over and done with. Whether or not Richard Allen is found guilty, or if he's acquitted, if there was a dismissal, whatever. We should have had this answer long ago. $1 million ago. It's a lot of money. Witchcraft says, I think they had him shave his beard off so he looks different. Yeah, they want him to look clean cut, put him in a collared shirt, because they're not obsessing over the Delphi case like the majority of us have been for the last 7 years. So, they're blank slates. They're clear palette, and the defense and prosecution, they're trying to paint a portrait on the face and the minds of these juries, right, that will benefit them. Clean slates. Well, at least they claim to be. Hopefully they're being honest. Curious Contrarian. Good to see you, Dan. How you doing? How you been? Lacey Dabbs 420. She's on that Ron Logan train. True Crime Fangirl says, "Hi Sleuth. If you didn't say yet, Carroll County approved the additional 2.2 million for trial 36 minutes ago." All right, that's another piece of breaking information. Man, an additional 2.2 million. So what's that? Close to 3.5 now. That's insane. Linda, welcome in. Good. Hope you're having a great day. Happy Thursday to you. Yeah, I think over 150 witnesses just on the defense side alone. And I'm hearing some of these third party suspects have officially been subpoenaed. So I think we're going to be hearing some news about that. Anna Melodies, welcome in. Karen G, hope you're having a great day at work. She says, "Justice for Abby and Libby." Thank you for that. Vaughn says, hit the like button. It's right there. Just hit it. The media seems to think he's being railroaded, and every defense attorney under the sun agrees. Well, that's what defense attorneys do. You know, they're cops. They're like the worst enemy. They're the worst nightmare when it comes to law enforcement. You know, they have to deal with these. A lot of these officers have dealt with these defense attorneys multiple times. You know, they've had their fingers in these cops' face, like, you know, accusing them of violating rights, not following protocol. Maybe, on some occasions, getting these some of these accused perpetrators off the hook. So, I mean, when it comes to cops and defense attorneys, it's like the Bloods and the Crips. Richard Allen was adopted by his stepfather. Roxy says, "Happy birthday, Farmer and Steph." Jarmy Vicious says, "Maybe not him at all." Yeah, maybe it is not Richard Allen. And even if it is him, they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. You know, they have to prove 100%. And they're not trying to prove that he physically killed Abby and Libby. So a lot of people forget that. You know, they have a hard time trying to explain, oh, there's no DNA, there's no fingerprints, there was a hair in Abby's hand. You know, how did he get him across the creek? You know, how did little old Ricky accomplish this? That's not what they're saying. That's not what the prosecution is trying to convey to the jury. What they're trying to convey to the jury is that Richard Allen is the guy on the bridge. He is the man that kidnapped Abby and Libby. He's the guy that said, "Down the hill." And whatever happened after that, only he, and if anyone else was involved, can say. That's it. That's not a hard task. Richard Allen has already pretty much, even before his quote unquote confessions, confessed to that. In a roundabout way. Lacey says, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure the origin of the hair is unknown. Yeah, I think it's really just a nothing burger. Hasn't been linked to DNA of anyone tested in relation to the case." Yep. And it could be anybody. It was a Delphi swim team hoodie. And in my mind, I'm just assuming, I see it in a locker room, dozens of kids, coaches, whatever, running around in there. Maybe girls sharing the hoodie. Welcome, Tara. Thank you for joining the Sleuth Crew. I appreciate you. We will be live today, so be good to see you at your first members only live stream. Hey, Ziggy. I wish it was chilly. We're in the 90s here. I don't know. I don't believe that it is an animal hair, Timmy. I just don't think they would be that misleading. You know, for them to say, hey, we found a hair and it doesn't match Richard Allen. For the jury to find out, like, well, it's an animal hair. So obviously, you know, I just don't feel like they would play around with the trust of the jury's trust that way. So I think it's safe to surmise, you know, that that is a human hair. Christine says they have enough evidence on Richard Allen. I agree. He said I was wearing a blue jacket that day and blue jeans, and I did have a hat on. I was there at the time that the girls were abducted. The girls that say they saw the bridge guy, those are the girls that Richard Allen has admitted to running into. Shortly after a small black hatchback is seen on Hoosier Harvest Store video, right around 127. The girls have photographic evidence at 126, and they state right after we took this photo is when we ran into this guy. So you have a vehicle that they may or may not prove belongs to Richard Allen, but here you have a black hatchback right at 126 driving by, heading towards the CPS building. He admitted to parking at the CPS building. He called it the old Farm Bureau building, but that's what he's referring to, the CPS building. And he said he walked on the trails. He said he walked on the trails and he walked on the bridge. So, I mean, they got him. It's, you remember, they're not trying to prove that he threw the sticks on the girls, that he physically killed them. All they're proving is that, hey, this is the kidnapper right there. If you want to know what happened, go ask that guy. Because he's the one that knows. So you guys, you have it in your mind that they have to prove that he's responsible for this whole ordeal. That's not it. All they need to prove is that guy that Libby captured on video saying, you know, pulling out a gun and kidnapping the girls off that bridge. That's all they're proving. The rest is up in the air. KMN said, I did your experiment with my boyfriend's hoodies and my results were the same as yours. There you go, guys. So if you're found clutching a random hoodie that doesn't even belong to you, in most cases, there's going to be a hair that isn't even yours at the bottom of your sleeve. So is Abby clutching a hair or is she clutching a sleeve that just happens to have a hair attached to it? Welcome, Tara. Hey, Brian Hawkins, did Richard ever sign a confession? No. So there's no official confessions. You know, people can be guilty of murder, and then because of being pretty much locked up in solitary confinement, they could start confessing to all kinds of things. It doesn't make them innocent and it doesn't make them guilty. We have, you know, it all has to be put into context. Just be prepared for an acquittal, Delulu. That happens a lot. You know, there could be an appeal. It's my understanding that the third party stuff will be allowed during the appeal process. It's already been approved by Judge Gohl. All of it. Third party suspects, Odinism. But what's being allowed, I believe, in trial is going to be, I think, pretty much the testimony of people like Perlmutter. And if you want, I have a replay where I completely read all, you know, the transcript from that day of her testimony. So I have a replay that we can watch. I don't know, Yvonne. It really depends on who you quote. It's my understanding it's a strand of hair. But we're waiting patiently for more details on that. I think Monday we'll know. Welcome in, Captain Trips. Sandollar, how are you? They didn't say it was human hair or an animal hair. I think it's safe to assume that it's human hair. I don't think that they're going to mislead the jury like that. I think it's very important that they keep the trust of that jury, and for them to say, "Hey, we found a hair and it doesn't match Richard Allen," and then they're like, "Well, no shit, because it's an animal hair." They will not trust the defense team the remainder of the time on any of the shit they say. So I think it's safe to suffice, right? No splitting hairs. I think it's safe to assume that it is a human hair. Human hair, human hairs. Is it male? Is it female? Is there a follicle attached? A stem? I'm not sure. What's up, Yankee? Good to see you. Police took samples of hair from the Allen property. Did they? I mean, I'm assuming they did. Yep, that's true, Lacey. That's what I've heard. He said that he killed his grandchildren, he killed his own family. And in a weird way, he kind of did, right? At least as far as he's concerned. If he's a guilty man, he killed that for himself. But also, he could be malingering, you know, like, oh shit, I was at a weak point. I had just gotten locked up. I've never been in jail my entire life. I've been fearing this moment. Now we're here. The pressure is too much. I'm confessing to my wife. I'm confessing to my mother. They're telling me to shut the hell up. Now I talk to my attorneys and they're saying, dude, like, what are you doing? So now he's doing what he does best, right? Taking countermeasures, acting crazy. Remember, he was drinking toilet water and doing stuff with feces and all of this. That could all be him malingering and trying, putting forth countermeasures, knowing that he messed up, knowing that he's upset his family, and that they want him to continue denying that he had any responsibility in this. So the fact that we're saying things like this, the jury members are going to be saying the very same thing. Well, yeah, he confessed over here and he provided a lot of intimate details about the crime scene, but then, the very next day, here he is confessing to shooting the girls, killing his own kids. So it could all be by design. That's what I'm saying. You can't really look too much into the confessions. Jarmy Vicious says, I heard the hair was wrapped around her finger. Yeah, but where'd you hear that from? I'm sure it was wrapped around her finger and under a glove and, attached to a note, to a ransom note, depending on you hear it from. So we're going to go ahead and wait for the facts on that. None of your business. Do you think there is any way the defense can create reasonable doubt that the BG isn't necessarily the person who kidnapped the girls because BG is male? Only a male hair helps the defense. I don't think that's true. Let's say it is wrapped around her finger, it's multiple hairs, and it belongs to a female. That could very well be a female accomplice. But once again, they're only there to prove that Richard Allen is the bridge guy, and he's on camera with a gun saying, guys down the hill. Later, they're found murdered not far from that area. So if they can prove Richard Allen's the bridge guy, he's partly responsible for that murder if others are involved. They don't need to tell the rest of the story. Story begins with the bridge guy. If he wouldn't have done what he did, the girls would still be alive. They would have gotten off that bridge. They would have continued on with their day. And you probably would never even know who I am. And I wouldn't have been consumed and terrified by what happened to them. It's haunting. Good morning, Periwinkle. All right. You guys give me a minute. I'll be right back. I'm going to refill this coffee. And then we're going to play a couple of local media clips with all the updated information. We can replay the Don Perlmutter transcripts if you want, and we'll continue this conversation. Just give me about a minute. All right, guys. Thank you for that. Thank you for being patient. Mata is like Saul Goodman with Down syndrome. That's not very nice. He's just a defense attorney, but I think he knows his shit. He's just a little biased. That was funny, though. Sensei, how you doing? Let's hit him, Sensei.
We do not train to be merciful here. Mercy is for the weak. Here, on the street, in competition.
Yes, Sensei. What is the problem, Lawrence? James Chadwell's from my town, Lafayette. His voice match is very close. He has stated he was sleeping under a bridge and was working at a factory in Delphi the day of the murders. Truffles, pet hair, doubtful. I think it's safe to say it's human hair. Doesn't mean it belongs to an accomplice. Doesn't mean it belongs to the real killer. It could just be random. Could belong to just a random person. Maybe somebody on Libby's swim team. Somebody that's friends with Kelsey. Somebody that's friends with Abby was on her other shirt, was transferred to the hoodie when she put that on. Who knows? I really don't think it's that important, especially when she was clutching the hoodie. I think the details, will clear up a lot about that hair. Did they say how much hair? That I'm unclear. You think if it was an actual, like an accomplice or the real killer, it would be multiple hairs. Like there was a struggle and she ripped a bunch of hair out of this person's head. Hey, what's up, No Effects? Lily Ray? Welcome in, Rain Dancer. Jennifer. Me too, Jennifer. I say by the 23rd, if it's going to happen, we'll hear it. You know, they're waiting on all of this to come out. And I think it's wise for Richard Allen, even if he is guilty, to hear all of this, right? Like, what kind of jury are we working with? What kind of game plan is the prosecution going to put forth? Does it appear that the jury is, buying into it? Are they buying into us? Remember, the defense has coached Richard Allen on how to interact with the jury. He's already smiling at them, making eye contact. Certain facial. He's going to be. It's all about timing for him, and the way he acts in that courtroom. And I think that comes natural to him, playing like a character. So he's going to be good at that. Anna says concerning the hair in the English language, hair can one or a headful. It's like sheep can be one or a flock. If a lot of hair in Abby's hand, I think they'd say a tuft, handful. Yeah, I think they'd be more specific. But if it's one single hair, I believe that it's a nothing burger, and we've proven that just by our own little experiments, right? And you guys can go do this experiment now if you like. Go pick out all the hoodies in your room, in your closet, sitting around, in your office. Fold them inside out. Look near the bottom of your sleeves and see if you can find a hair that doesn't belong to you, and not just an animal hair, like even a human hair. We did that experiment yesterday, and I think it proved my point. But it depends, are we talking about a clump of hair, multiple hair? It depends. Good to see you, Stephanie. All right, I'm going to zip on down here. Catch all these folks coming in. Phil Bond, welcome. Always good to see you. Lady Monet. I read that 5 hairs with the follicle is needed for DNA. No, that's not true. We kind of cleared that up yesterday. Devoted, was Brad Weber the interruption or the girls trying to get away? I believe when you go through the timeline and doing our own investigation, Brad Weber, in my opinion, if the muddy and bloody guy is connected to this crime and is the killer or one of the killers, most definitely. Because he returned home right about 3:45. So if the killers are startled right around 3:45, then they begin covering the girls with sticks and then walking up through the cemetery and are spotted at about 357 on 300. That's perfect timing right there. So I feel like the killers, they took them to an area where nobody can see them. The only people that could see them would be somebody on the private drive. Interesting. Hey, Miss Mala, did you say Judge Gall has okayed the third-party evidence for appeal? No. Yes, for appeal, sorry. But it looks like she's also going to allow some of the testimony from Don Perlmutter, where she talks about the crime scene being ritualistic. It's a good question, Boston. I don't know who he confessed to first, but we're going to hear that. We're going to know very soon. We are going to know exactly what those confessions are all about. Okay, let me zip on down. Good to see you, Rain Dancer. Thank you, Farmer. All right, who did I miss? Curious as Mata has been caught doing some weird stuff behind the scenes. Yeah, and I could care less. I don't care about all that. That's like tabloid stuff. Miracle Hearts, welcome. Jason, welcome in. Jay, what up? Frank Meister, welcome in. Lily Ray, if you guys are just walking in, I believe it's officially stated now that there was no DNA linking Richard Allen, no fingerprints. You guys know about the hair. The defense has removed its request to view the crime scene. They're no longer interested in taking Richard Allen and the jury to the crime scene. And I kind of felt that, I thought that that was a weird move on their part. I also thought that the prosecution was playing possum, like, oh, please don't take the jury to the crime scene. We object to that. And then they gave some generic reasons. It would be dangerous. It's private property. Even though they had every law enforcement officer in a 100-mile radius on, both of those private properties. Cases, I don't think they will offer him a deal. He could plead guilty. Either way, yeah. Whether it's a deal or not, I think he will change his plea. He will change his plea. Or he will plead guilty. Welcome in, Frankie Christian. Please, please, Nick, hand Baldwin his ass. Need to see the charlatan get his comeuppance. The slimy defense attorneys. They're going to do their job. Thank you, Sensei. Scrub report, 92 likes, 225 in chat. Hit it before I sweep the leg.
We do not train to be merciful here. Mercy is for the weak. Here, on the street, in competition.
Do you have a problem, Lawrence? No, Sensei. Get him a body bag. I don't think Logan said anything about Odinism, but I could be wrong. Thank you, Shadow. I appreciate you guys. Miss Thang, Tara, Sensei, and Shadow. Welcome in, Road Dog. TC, good to see you. I don't think those bone shacks were actually out there near the Delphi scene. That is yet to be proven. I know there's an actual shack out there. It's on the south side, about maybe 3/4 of a mile, maybe half a mile from the bridge, on the opposite side of the crime scene. Good to see you, Sees Through. And Dave G. What happened with the murder sheet? Well, I'm sure they're going to still be covering the case, but I don't think that they were able to get into the media group that they're putting together. They're offering press passes. That way you wouldn't have to worry about waiting in line. You have your pass. You've already been selected to cover the case. I think that was denied, or they were pulled from that group. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to get into the trial, because as we've seen in Allen County, they were first in line, hanging out and reporting on everything. So I still look forward to hearing what they have to say. That just means they have to go back to bringing that coffee in the thermos and bringing the folding chairs and making sure they beat Frank Meister in line. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into some of these reports. Um, the photo that you see on the screen is from Bob Siegel. I believe he took that this morning. He also took this video. So if you guys are planning on parking anywhere near the courthouse, be careful. They are chalking tires. You know what that means. That means if they come back and they see that chalk right there, your ass is getting towed. So this is a video I pulled from X, and it looks like it was from Bob Siegel. So shout out to Bob. So if you're just joining us, Judge Gold will rule today on two motions, one about the use of investigation sketches, which is never really allowed in court. It's hearsay. That's a given. I don't know why people are even talking about that. About jury visiting the crime scene, I think she's already denied that. Or I think the defense has removed their request. They're no longer interested in bringing the jury or Richard Allen down to the crime scene. I feel like that would benefit the prosecution anyway. The jury, I think, has already been sworn in today, and the trial will officially begin tomorrow with opening statements, I think, from the prosecution first, I believe. And then the defense, I don't know. I think their opening statements will be the following Monday. Don't quote me on that. What's up, D? I will allow it. Always good to see you. Yep, knocking the tires. So if you guys know anything about chalk on the tires, that's how they tell if you've been parked there, because the moment you take off, it's going to rub off that chalk. So they'll come back in an hour, and if you're still there, your shit's getting towed. All right, let's go to this one first.
Today, the judge overseeing the Delphi double murders trial will hear arguments on multiple outstanding motions.
Yeah, jury seated now in the trial of Richard Allen, the man charged with the murders of Abby William and Libby German. Our Kit Hanley has more on what we've learned so far and what the judge is going to hear today. Kit?
Angela, good morning. Tomorrow marks day one of the trial in Delphi, but today in Allen County, pre-trial formalities continue as Judge Fran Gohl will rule on motions from both the prosecution and defense, including the prosecution's attempt to prevent these two sketches that were released during the initial investigation from being used in the trial. The first is from July of 2017 and the second released in April of 2019, with the prosecution arguing that the sketches could mislead the jury.
Prosecution is not planning to actually present the witnesses that helped to prepare the composite sketches at court. And so basically they're saying, we're really thinking that these are not relevant. They're composite sketches.
Another motion was filed by the defense. They're asking that the jury be allowed to visit the crime scene at the Monon High Bridge in Delphi. The prosecution has objected to that. Now, as for tomorrow, the 12 jurors and 4 alternates from Allen County will appear in court for the first day of the trial. All meals, lodging.
Yeah, there's an update to this. The defense has removed that request. So they're no longer interested in having the jury visit the crime scene.
And transportation will be provided. The 16 of them will be sequestered for the entirety of the trial. Now, you may be asking, what does that mean exactly? Well, they'll be in court Mondays through Saturdays and are only allowed supervised visitation with their family on Sundays. Any communication and every activity will be under supervision, and the jurors cannot read or watch anything related to the trial, which is expected to last a month.
It's of critical interest to Richard Allen and to the interest of justice that these individuals who are impaneled do not have any preconceived notions of Richard Allen's guilt, that they haven't been necessarily following the media and basically coming to a preconceived notion of guilt or innocence, in other words.
By the end of the highly anticipated month-long trial, the prosecution, of course, is required to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Allen is guilty to get a conviction from the jury. In the meantime, the two families in the entire Delphi community have waited nearly 8 years for this trial and some closure. For now, in the studio, Kit Hanley.
Today, the judge overseeing the Delphi double murders trial will
Statements in Indiana's most high-profile murder trial begin Friday. Suspected killer Richard Allen is on trial for the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German in 2017. Their bodies were found near the Monon High Bridge on Valentine's Day. Now, it's been a busy 3 days since the jury selection began Monday in Fort Wayne. The 12 jurors and 4 alternates will be sequestered until through the entire trial. We know they'll be in court Mondays through Saturdays. They'll have supervised visits with families on Sundays, and all communications and activities will be supervised as well. Meals, lodging, and transportation will also be provided. Jurors are also prohibited from reading or watching anything related to the case. Also today, Special Judge Fran Gohl approved a motion on the defense's Odinism theory, as it won't be coming up during this trial.
That's right, Nick. Judge Gold did allow those arguments to be heard after a verdict is reached, only during the appeals process if it gets there. She will allow the Odinism theory to be heard, again, during the potential appeals process only. With that move today, an appeals court could be allowed to review the judge's decision on the matter. It's been a busy few days in Fort Wayne, and now the trial moves to Delphi for opening statements on Friday. The jury selection giving us a clearer picture of the arguments that both sides plan to make over the next few weeks. Fox 59's Russ McQuaid walks us through.
This is a great report by Russ right here.
So true crime definitely influences how people think about different crimes. And frankly, sometimes they think they're a lot more interesting and a lot less mundane than they actually are.
On Tuesday, defense attorney Andrew Baldwin told prospective jurors the prosecution has, quote, no DNA, no fingerprints. Hair was found in Abby Williams' hand that doesn't belong to Richard Allen, unquote. The prosecution repeatedly asked prospective jurors if they need to see DNA evidence or have a murder weapon to get a conviction.
Important for people to have realistic expectations of both the prosecution and the defense attorneys. You can't be necessarily thinking everything's going to be CSI and solved in 30 minutes.
Carroll County prosecutor Nicholas McLeland said an unfired bullet found at the crime scene links Allen to the murders. McLeland claims Allen left behind a bullet, quote, with distinct marks. Court documents show a search warrant of Allen's home revealed a gun that matched the unfired bullet, but defense attorney Andrew Baldwin called the interpretation of bullet evidence, quote, a bunch of bunk.
A bunch of bunk. That shit is bunk. Let's go to Lady Monet's comment here. Sleuth, do you think Nick McClellan would offer anything less than life without parole on a plea deal? Yes. Yes. I think he could even offer 40 years. Remember, they're only there to prove Richard Allen is the bridge guy. That's it. And if you want any more answers about what happened at the crime scene, you're going to get them from him because he's the only one that truly knows. And the fact that he's kidnapping the girls makes him guilty of murder. That's their whole case. So we'll probably hang out in the chat for another 30 minutes. I was going to play a replayed video, but if you guys want to go watch it, it is titled Delphi Murders Open Discussion. And that was released on September 26th. This is the thumbnail right here. So I read the entire transcripts. It took like 2 hours. Don Perlmutter was questioned by the defense and the prosecution, and I read that entire thing here and kind of explain who she is. And I think they may even let this into trial, her testimony. So if you guys want to go check that out, I don't think I'm going to play it. It's extremely long-winded, and I'm already having trouble keeping up with the chat. So, but if you guys want to go watch that after this, feel free. Welcome in the funeral parade. Says the old guy who died, you mean Ron Logan? And whose backyard those girls were found in? Ron Logan. You think he did it? It's obvious. I disagree. He was an evil old man. Maybe. There's a lot of evil old men in Delphi. Is he the evil man that killed the girls? Haven't seen any proof of that. His ex even said how evil he was. Yeah, she might be right. And the girl's boyfriend's dad is an Odinist. Here, I got something for you.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
If Richard Allen was so innocent, how come his lawyers couldn't get released until a trial date? Couldn't get what released? Circumstantial. Just hope they have enough dots connected for the jury to get the big picture. Fingers crossed. Yeah, he should have an even newer one than that. Honestly, there should be a new one from this morning. So if you guys know how to access that, I've never accessed any of the mugshots at the Carroll County Jail. So if you guys want to send that over, there should be a new one from this morning. So if you guys have that, if you email it to me, I'll put it up on the screen. This is the one from Allen County about 2 days ago. Clean shaven, fresh buzz cut. I don't know, Boston. They're being very strict. No more shenanigans. They don't want crazy YouTubers fighting out on the lawn. Miracle Hearts feels like a dream. How is this starting tomorrow? Yeah, we're going to learn a lot tomorrow, and Monday we'll know pretty much everything. As far as what both sides have. And then they'll spend the next month trying to prove it. Lily Rest says, law don't follow law in Indiana. Look here now, law dog. Law just don't go around here. Shut up, Ike. What did Gold do? Oh my God, Gold did her job. She's so crooked. She's an Odinist. Wait till you guys find out that Nick McClellan has an Odin tattoo. You guys are going to shit a brick. Bet you didn't know about that. Yeah, I think in certain cities you can vote against it. I seen that up. I think there was a proposition here in Phoenix for that 1 year. But I think most of the residents enjoy it. Plus, it brings a lot of revenue. Devoted, I thought they were gagged. Why is the defense allowed to say whatever they want all the time? We've heard nothing from the prosecution. Well, the gag was to keep people quiet for this moment. There is no more gag. Everything, the cat's out the bag. Especially tomorrow Well, half of the cat will be out the bag. But yeah, they're allowed to speak whatever they want. The whole reason for the gag order was to keep people quiet until this moment, the trial, which includes the jury selection and those mini opening statements. But the jury or the defense shouldn't have been leaking all that information. They leaked the discovery index to a YouTuber. They allowed the Frank's memo to be leaked and grabbed. It was never supposed to be made public. That was leaked. Yeah, so that's what they do. They released a press. They did a press release after agreeing to keep this information hush hush. So that's what they do. They're doing everything they should be doing for their client. They even almost got fired. But when it comes to the crime scene photos, I think that truly was theft. I don't think they planned that. I don't think in any way that benefits Richard Allen, unless it was to try to help prove the Odinism stuff. So that could have been their whole point of leaking that. Trying to get that information pushed through, with the sticks and all of that. But it didn't work. Because it just doesn't look like Odinism. Oh my God, you have 3 sticks that are crossing each other, not even evenly. You have the third stick that's barely even in the middle of the other 2. And they're trying to match it to some writing on Brad Holder's hand and to some kind of bind ruin. It just didn't work. Because they couldn't explain what the hell was going on with the sticks over Libby. So it kind of backfired. Darlene, welcome in. Defense likely doesn't want to risk time being eaten away. They are not guaranteed to get equal time for any guaranteed amount of days. The state can stall, continue through leaving. Yeah, that's a good point. They have 150 witnesses they want to get to. Maybe they realize that they would be giving up a day or two getting the jury out there. And the jury can't go out to the crime scene and talk amongst each other. They can't say, oh, well, this is what I think. And then they all start kind of forming their own opinions. They can't do that till it's time to deliberate, till deliberation. Then they can start talking about all the information. So that's a good point, darling. Thank you. Murder Sheet writing a book on Delphi released summer of 2025. Of course they are. I'll probably buy it. Molly says, Sleuth Intuition, is the gag order lifted now that the trial is basically underway? Yeah, basically. Lily says, it is bunk. I got something for you, Lily. You ready?
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Devoted Doug Carter will probably change his name and move after the trial, so he never has to tell us the story he can't wait to tell us. Right? I just can't wait to tell you guys. One day I'll be able to tell you. Hey, outside of the grid, we are here. It is upon us. Welcome in, Lauren. Susan says the jurors being sequestered may give them an understanding of how Richard Allen might have gone cuckoo during his prison time. Yeah, that's crazy for an entire month, And we could have issues too. We could have issues with the jury not following the rules, logging on to YouTube and watching Sleuth Intuition's videos on the Delphi murders, then getting in trouble. You know, that has happened. It's a long time. Silas, is that a scientific term? Is that a legal term? Bunk. I guess so. I always thought that was more of a hippie term. This weed is bunk. What's up, Brightfield? Says guilty. Lily Ray says, I believe that Ron Logan is the bridge guy. Do you now? What's up, Fretless? If you're just joining us, guys, it's official that there is no DNA connecting Richard Allen to the crime scene, no fingerprints. The defense has removed its request to view the crime scene, and it looks like the murder sheet will not be part of the media group. And the third party and Odinism stuff will be allowed to be presented during the appeal. And I also think some of the stuff discussed on the August 1st, those 3 day of hearings, like Don Perlmutter, I think that might be allowed in as well. So even though they're not going to be referencing alternate suspects, they will be able to talk a little bit about the crime scene appearing to be ritualistic. But don't quote me on that. All we've learned, Brad, is that no DNA, no fingerprints. The defense is no longer interested in viewing the crime scene, which I thought was a bad move anyway. Shane, Lily, yeah, and I'm Tupac.
He gonna cry in the car.
Oh yeah, everybody was talking about what was it, the snowman? I think that was mentioned in this article. Article is titled 14 Jurors Selected So Far for Delphi Murder Trial. This was put out on the 14th. So let me go to this whole. Let's see. I think it was a metaphor. Yeah, maybe I'll just read the whole thing. It's kind of long. Let's see here. Allen was arrested on October 2022, more than 5 years after Libby German and Abby Williams were found dead near the Monon High Bridge in Carroll County. Allen is charged with 2 counts of murder for the girls' deaths. Allen also faces 2 counts of felony murder, which is killing somebody while committing a felony. Before jury selection even began on Monday, a line formed outside the doors of the Allen County Courthouse. Prospective jurors, members of the media, victims' families, and others filed through the security line once the courthouse opened at 8 a.m. Just before 9 a.m., bailiffs brought Allen into the courtroom. He showed minimal expression, wearing a dress shirt and khaki pants. He was brought to Fort Wayne from a state prison and booked into Allen County Jail over the weekend. His lawyers, including Andrew Baldwin and Brad Rosie, accompanied him inside the courtroom. Nick McClellan, Carroll County prosecutor, entered the courtroom with multiple staffers, including a deputy prosecuting attorney. Family members of the victims sat in the back of the courtroom. Special Judge Fran Gall took the stand and laid out the rules for jury selection. 3 days are set aside for the process. On Monday alone, 52 potential jurors were summoned. Hundreds of additional jurors are on standby for the remainder of jury selection. McClellan and Rosie took turns listing off every one of the more than 100 witnesses they plan to call to testify during the trial, including family members of Allen, German, and Williams. Allen's defense plans to call Kagan Klein, a man originally linked the girl's disappearance to the stand, as well as Doug Carter, superintendent of Indiana State Police. McClellan then gave a mini opening statement. He told potential jurors that his case involves three main things: bridge guy, a bullet, and the murder of two girls. He told jurors German and Williams were alone when they walked across the Monon High Bridge on February 2017. Instead, he says bridge guy kidnapped them at gunpoint, forced them to take off their clothes, and cut their throats. He says Allen is bridge guy. He left behind a key piece of evidence, a bullet. In his opening statement, Rosie told potential jurors that Allen confessed to shooting the girls in the back and raping them. But he says that the girls were not shot nor raped, and Allen confessed under duress. He says Allen suffered in the Westville Correctional Facility and made false confessions. He told potential jurors that a state ballistic witness has had staff members make mistakes in the past and should not be trusted. Court staff called jurors up a dozen at a time. Then the judge, prosecutors, and Allen's lawyers each took turns questioning the jurors. The prosecution and defense were each given 30 minutes to get insight into each juror's biases, opinions, and background. McClellan emphasized to potential jurors that he only has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Allen is guilty, not that there's no way he is innocent. He also asked jurors their opinions on how much evidence is sufficient for a conviction. McClellan even asked jurors how much evidence they need to determine that Frosty the Snowman melted in their front yard. Rosie asked jurors that signs they'd see in someone who committed a crime and why someone would falsely admit to a crime they never committed. He also asked if jurors would change their perspective of Allen if he didn't take the witness stand and defend himself. Rosie also spoke on reasonable doubt, showing jurors a large poster outlining the different burdens of proof needed to arrest someone, take away custody of their children, or convict them of a crime. He reminded jurors that proof beyond a reasonable doubt is the highest burden of proof in Indiana's legal system. At the end of each round of questioning, lawyers from both sides conferred with Judge Gohl on which potential jurors to keep. After the first round, half of the first 12 were chosen to sit on the trial jury. 2 men and 4 women were picked. In the second round, 2 men and 2 women were selected for the jury. In the third round, 1 woman was picked for the jury. In the fourth round, 1 man and 1 woman were chosen. In the fifth and final round of the day, 1 woman was picked. The fifth round only included 4 potential jurors. One of the jurors selected in a prior round was dismissed, according to a court officer. People serving on the jury include a FedEx driver, seminary professor, and a school counselor. Others were passed aside for a seat on the jury because they were victims of violent crime, had heard too much about the case, or had responsibilities at home they couldn't be away from. One man even claimed he was a psychic and an empath, so he couldn't be impartial. The court adjourned for a day around 4:45, having only stopped for a single 10-minute break. A dozen jurors and 4 alternates will be taken to Carroll County later this week for the trial. Judge Gohl is set to consider multiple outstanding requests from both prosecutors and defense on Thursday. Opening arguments in this case are set to begin Friday. This article was by Jacob Newland. Yeah, I think we're going to be presented with some video and some audio, and we'll be able to see the exhibits. But they're going to be chosen by the court. Lady, the gag order, there's not going to be a need for the gag order because all the information is going to be presented in the courtroom and then provided to the public by the media that's sitting in the courtroom. Going to be hard to gag what's now public. That's my take on it anyway. But maybe officially, yeah. Basically, the defense case is that somebody else is bridge guy, and they also own a .40 caliber SIG 226 with the same brand of ammunition. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck. None of your friends? We're not your friends? That hurts. Me too, Timmy. Yeah, we're looking for a bad guy, you know. We need the right bad guy. I don't think Ron Logan had any Odin ties. I don't know where you're getting that from. Feel free to shoot me an email. I'll put it on the screen if you can prove it. Devoted Logan Knights are out in full force today. Down the hill. See? Brad knows what I'm talking about. Nick has an Odinist tramp stamp. It's a bind ruin. Ooh. That's funny. What's up, Daniel? It's finally here. Yep, we can always agree to disagree, Daniel. You're definitely welcome here. I appreciate you for saying that. And like I said, you guys don't have to agree with me. And I definitely don't, probably rarely right. But I've created a pretty fair space for you guys. And the price you have to pay is just, you know, stomaching my opinion. So if you can stomach it and suffer through it, that's the price. It's not too bad. Especially when you guys get to correct me and make me look dumb, which happens on a daily. And I appreciate it. We want to get it right. I agree, Miracle Hearts. Alternative media is where it's at. And that's what we're all about. BD Hubbard. I thought the hair being tested was cat hair. Is it now that the belief that it was actually human? I don't know. I think we all just assumed it was cat hair. We heard rumors about them searching. They mentioned animal hair in the second Ron Logan affidavit. And we know they were digging up Richard Allen's yard. So I think a lot of people just assumed that they were digging up the cat. Because in Kathy Allen's Facebook post in 2018, she says they lost their cat. So I think people are just assuming that. What's up, Yonder? Welcome in. Welcome in, Martin Clark. Didn't one of Ron Logan's exes also say he was afraid of heights and wouldn't have crossed the bridge? That I don't remember. I'm not sure about that. Linda says, if he's so innocent, he shouldn't start glaring at the families when they talk about what he did to them. Yeah, I thought it was weird that he was trying to like give them a Bible. Very strange. Welcome in. C. I think Ron Logan was also way too tall to have been the bridge guy. I agree with that. I might have a comparison here. Well, I have an old comparison here, but that's not the one I'm looking for. Here it is. Here, we'll put this up on the screen.
Down the hill. 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 Down the hill.
Down the hill. Says it kind of funny. Hey, there she is. Return the diamonds. Potentially. Thank you, Shadowbox. Yeah, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Once we catch up on the chat. Today's not going to be very long, so I want to give a shout out to everybody who was able to make it. Shout out to the replay crew. Big shout out to those of you who have been donating to the Cash App and the Venmo, becoming members, supporting my channel. Because if you guys weren't supporting me, I'd have to be somewhere else doing something else. So you guys do make this possible. So thank you. Thank you again, Miss Thang, for supporting my channel for so long. One of my first members. Welcome, Tara, to the Sleuth Crew. We are going live later on today for members only. Sensei and Shadowbox. Welcome in, Riva. Richard Allen could be Bridge Guy, but was Bridge Guy the killer? Does the video continue and prove he approached them, or does he walk on by? Yeah, it does prove he pulled out the gun in the video and forces them down the hill, and then the video, it ends. It's 43 seconds. And one of the girls says he has a gun. Yep, that's right. C. Swinford hits it right on the head there. He tells them to go down the hill where they were murdered. BG is responsible for felony murder via kidnapping. If he would not have kidnapped them that day, no matter what happened after that, they would still be alive. They would have graduated high school, been in college, maybe married, you know, with children by now. But because of the Bridge Guy, that will never happen. I don't know, She Warrior. Thanks for the email. I don't know, honestly. You know, no matter what happens to Richard Allen, he has an uphill battle. Whether, you know, he's acquitted or what, his life is going to be difficult. Now, if he's acquitted, and then they can find somebody else, and prove that they did it, then I think his life could go back to normal somewhat. But it looks like he's the Bridge Guy. You know, he admits to being there at the time. You know, you have a black hatchback that they're going to try to say is his Ford Focus. He admitted to parking at the CPS building. He called it the Farm Bureau building, but we know what he referred to. what he was referring to. The girls that saw him, he admitted to seeing them. They actually have a timestamp photograph of the bench right after they took that photo. Almost the very moment that they took that photo, he's driving by the Hoosier Harvest store. So he's passing right by them and going to the CPS building. Now, he parks at the CPS building, starts walking towards the Monon High Bridge, and they start walking towards the Freedom Bridge. And just before the Freedom Bridge, they cross paths. They even have somewhat of an interaction. They wave to him, "Hi, how you doing?" They said he looked like he was having a bad day and walking with purpose. So he told Dan Doolin, like, "Yeah, I was there between 1:30 and 3:30. And I saw these 3 girls." Okay, well, the 3 girls that he saw and they saw him, those girls say the man that we saw is the guy in Libby's video. So right there, that is proof or evidence that he is the bridge guy. Okay, now you have this bullet that they're going to prove was cycled through his gun. So if they can prove he kidnapped those girls, he's responsible for their murder, their deaths. That's a good question, Fretless. We're going to find that out tomorrow. Everything that the prosecution has, we're going to learn about it tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in. We're going to cover this tomorrow in great detail. We're going to consolidate all of the information that's being reported on the trial and on the Delphi murders of Abby and Libby. We're going to have it consolidated all right here on the Sleuth Intuition channel. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Go share this video on social media. And we're going to join up again tomorrow. Diddums, good to see you. Let's go ahead and hit Farmer, GP with the belated, and Stefa with the good old Uncle Buck.
Happy birthday! Woo!
Woo! So happy birthday, guys. Happy Thursday. Members, I'll see you a little bit later. Reagan, how you doing? Psychic and an empath. Not just a psychic. Hey, Cindy, good to see you. Welcome in. Shout out to the replay crew. Shadow says, "I'm so pissed. I'll be on a plane to Vegas tomorrow. I'm going to have to buy Wi-Fi on the plane." Yeah, you better. I'll see you tomorrow. Ron Logan. You're funny, Farmer. Hey, Roy, welcome in. Down the hill. First one was better. Thanks, Roy. I appreciate you. Reva says the real killer is walking free. Maybe, maybe not.
This is some trippy ass shit, Holmes.
What's up, AB? I like toidles. Welcome in. All All right, guys, if you could, make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Pitbull Mom, good to see you. Luis, how are you doing? Lala. Have a great day at work today, Cindy. Have a great day. Have a beautiful Thursday. Thank you, BD. I appreciate you. So easy to spread that positive energy, isn't it? And I do appreciate it. BD says, happy birthday, farmer. Libra explains a lot. Shout out to my Libras. And same time, same channel. We'll be covering this case. There's going to be a lot of bombshell information. I guarantee it. We'll have everything consolidated here, guys. Do not miss it. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Members, I'll see you in a few hours. Go hit that notification for the members only live stream. And everybody else, catch you on the flip side. Peace.